Hey guys, Super Rugby Pacific Round 13 is wrapped up this evening. In this video, I will be reviewing all the action in Fantasy Super Rugby. We'll see who the highest scoring players were, who the biggest disappointments were. I'll be seeing how the players from my best picks videos went, just to keep myself honest. After that, we'll take a look at the league leaderboard for this round, do a review of the top teams there. Hopefully your team's there. Don't forget you can join my league in the description in the video. Anyway, let's get into it. Now, a quick recap of the fixtures. First up, we had the draw getting crushed by the Blues in Fiji in Suva. I did say in my preview that the Blues, they kind of are kryptonite for the draw, that grinding forward style that they play, the draw, they really can't hang with it. As soon as I heard it was going to be a bit wet for this game, that just compounded all those factors for this matchup, and yeah, it went as expected. I did get a bit scared though. I had a lot of Blues backs going into this game. As soon as I saw the weather, I kind of dropped them, replaced them, kept my forwards though. And yeah, if we look at the top round scorers for the whole round, very low scoring round overall, generally speaking. Highest scoring player, Corey Toole, 59 points. And if you look at the bottom of this top dozen players, you've just got players in the low 40s. So yeah, very low scoring round. For me, I got 530 points. Pretty average score any other round, but this round, I'm pretty stoked with that. I think that's very good. And yeah, if we look at the top scoring players, you can see a lot of Blues players here. Actually, 5 of them in the top dozen. And I mean, on one hand, it's not so surprising when you see they put on 34 points, but yeah, I mean, the Blues, they haven't been great for points this year. But you can see we've got a prop and a loose forward in the top 5. Then after that, you got a few backs further down. So yeah, it just goes to show the Blues, they can be good picks if you get the timing right. Other matchups, Tars versus the Reds in Sydney. I did think the Reds were going to win this. I wasn't sure what the margin would be. Waratahs have been strong at home. Turned out to be pretty close. Went down to the wires. Wasn't a fantastic game for points though, just because it was a bit of a grind, a bit sort of stop-starty, lots of cards. And yeah, those matchups often aren't that great for points. Was a little bit wet as well. Crusaders versus Chiefs. This is another game I was very uncertain about. And again, I just faded a lot of players from both of these teams just because of that uncertainty. That kind of worked out, I think. I mean, did miss out on a little bit here, but some Chiefs players did actually get pretty decent points in the end. But that was the problem. I wasn't sure if it was going to tip towards the Chiefs or the Crusaders. It looked like Crusaders early. It went to Chiefs second half. And honestly, I tipped the Crusaders to win by 3 points, but that's not how it played out. And then with the Force and the Brumbies, I was actually pretty positive about this matchup. I thought there would be a lot of running rugby because in Perth, there often is. It's always good conditions. I thought the Brumbies would win. I wasn't sure what the margin would be because the Force at home, they've been pretty strong this year. And yeah, they did defend strongly for long periods, but they just got worn down in the end, like especially in that second half. The Brumbies were really able to just keep that ball in hand, keep the pressure on, keep playing forward from penalties. And yeah, they really just ground them down. And if we look at the top back 3 picks for this week, Corey Toole, like we already talked about, number 1 with 59. I did have him as my captain, and yeah, it's always a good week when you're captain, the top scoring guy for the whole round. My top picks for my best pick video were of course Toole and Tom Wright. On top of that, Jordan Rees, AJ Lamb, Laguna Masi, Harry Potter, Kurtley Beale, Cole Forbes, and I think I gave a shout out to Dalgunu and Jock Campbell. So some of these players doing well, a lot of them not. And the main thing was, yeah, I was fading Chiefs and Crusaders, but the Chiefs in particular, they did come up big in the backs. Carter and Nadawa actually doing pretty well in the end, but good for you if you picked that one. I did actually have AJ Lamb selected initially. You can see here, like I said, I ended up dropping a lot of those Blues backs when I heard the rain was coming in. I dropped Will Jordan, and I dropped the one who plays at fullback. I forget his name right at the moment, who's listed as a midfielder. I also dropped Broden Barrett and Borden McKenzie. Will Jordan unfortunately got injured. I mean, what can you do? Like, that's just part of the game, guys. A lot of you probably had him, and yeah, just really bad luck on that one. Would have been better off with AJ Lamb, but it is what it is. Harry Potter was a real bust this week, unfortunately. I was kind of big on him. I mean, he's done really well in all these other games and losing efforts, even when the Force haven't scored a lot of points. But yeah, finally things just ran out. I mean, the Force, they just did not get a lot of ball this game. When they did, I mean, the Brumbies' defense was good. The Force, they just spilled a lot of ball. They weren't able to get it wide as often as they would want to. And that's pretty much all there is to it. And going down the list, I mean, pretty quickly you get into these guys who just sort of got 30, 40 points. So there really isn't a lot to remark on here. Just the way the games went this week, they were kind of just tough for everyone except for the Blues. And if we have a look at the midfielders, interestingly, Xavi Ta'ili was the top scorer on 43. He was actually one of the guys I gave a shout out in my best picks video, but he was sort of my last cab off the rank. The other one was in fact Corey Evans, who I did have selected, but then I dropped when it rained. He did pretty well, 3rd place on 36. Interesting thing to note about him as well, just watching that game, I was pleased to see him actually run the ball a decent amount from the back. I thought maybe there was a chance he might end up kicking it a lot. That didn't happen. He actually ran it quite a lot, and that's what we want to see as fantasy pickers. And yeah, I think he is back on the radar as a pretty good option going forward. David Havili in 2nd place with 43. Yeah, again, just wasn't sure how Crusaders and Chiefs were going to go, but he had a pretty good game. And to be honest, he has been pretty solid all year. He's not getting massive scores that often, but yeah, he's just been pretty solid and had a pretty good one tonight. Don't think he sort of moves up or down that much though in my usual estimations. I ended up going with Len Ikitau instead of Corey Evans. He did get a try, but only 30 points in that game. A little bit disappointing. He did play pretty well, but yeah, that Force defense, it was just really good that game. There was not a lot cooking in the midfield. And yeah, straight away we're just into players getting like 20s or whatever. Joseph Suoliti was another big one. He obviously went off injured. But I mean, again, that's bad luck, but literally everyone still playing this game has Suoliti selected. So you really don't miss out a lot on that one relative to other players. And then looking at the fly halves, D-Mac was back this week. He was starting at 10. The other option I put forward as being a serious one to consider was Beauden Barrett. I ended up switching off him when I saw that rain was coming in, that wet weather in Suva. But in the end, it didn't make that much difference. And Beauden Barrett, he's always going to be solid, right? Like, he's always going to have the goal kicking duties, and yeah, he can do everything. He can get line breaks if he needs to. He'll get try assists from those crossfield kicks. Didn't get a lot of stuff happening around him. It was mostly done through the forwards in this game, but yeah, so many points were scored that he did pretty decently in the end, and that's kind of what you look for if you're going for a Beauden Barrett pick in that type of game. And looking at the halfbacks, for me, I mean, it was pretty much Tate McDermott and Noah Hotham. Those were the two picks I put forward this week. But the ones that won out were Cortez Rautima and Tofa Funaki. Not too surprised to see Funaki here. I mean, he did get a try, but yeah, he was in a sort of matchup where, yeah, he definitely could go well. Rautima, I mean, again, there was just so much uncertainty around that game between the Chiefs and Crusaders. I wasn't sure that the Chiefs were going to get this many points. Turns out they did, and a lot of them, Rautima, he got credited with a couple of try assists, which gave him a really big boost. So good on you if you got that one. But yeah, Tate otherwise, he was pretty solid, 32, and Hotham not that far behind on 28. Jake Gordon doing pretty good, but he did get a try, so not a lot going for him otherwise. Now, in the loose forwards, my picks for this week were McWright, Satiti, Tizano, Jacobson, Leah Willie, and Sotutu. If you look at my lineup here, you can see Rob Valentini is there, and that is just because like minutes before the game started, I realized Tizano was out, so I made an emergency sub. I had to juggle things around because I already had 4 Brumbies, so I ended up dropping Hooper for Williams in the lock slot, which actually worked out really well for me. Williams did very well. And yeah, I bought him Valentini. He didn't do that great. Not a big fan of the pick, but I mean, I wasn't that interested in picking any of the force back rowers. As it turns out, Koteka, who was Tizano's replacement, did very well. He got 47 points. He got a try off the back of the maul, and I think that's something really important to note. I mean, we all know Carlo Tizano, he's been getting those maul tries at the force. Koteka was his direct replacement at 7, and he also got the ball at the back of that maul. So going forward, if Tizano, if he's out for a while due to his injury, Koteka could be a real serious guy to consider, just because he'll be the guy at the back to get that ball from the maul. He could be in line for maul tries. So yeah, something to remember going forward, although hopefully Tizano isn't out for too long. Top pick this week was actually Hoskins Sotutu, 51 points. Didn't get a try from all of that either. And yeah, just a spread of points just in so many different categories. Beat a lot of defenders, got a turnover, got a try assist, handful of tackles. Yeah, just a really good performance from Hoskins. This is his top score all year. And I mean, I've picked him a few times this year and he's never performed, and I didn't feel great about picking him this week, but options were kind of thin, so I went for it. He just felt better than everything else, and yeah, it actually really paid off, and he looked quite good in that game as well. One thing that bugs me a little bit with Sotutu is that he's not being greedy, in that he's often, when the Blues are close to the line, he's employing a bit of misdirection and then, like, you know, feigning to carry and then passing the ball with short pass. That's how he got the try assist this game. And last week against the Force, we saw him sort of just run this really good dummy line that drew in the defense. Instead, the pass went to someone else who got an easy run in over the line for a try. So yeah, they're really using Hoskins with a bit of misdirection, which from a fantasy perspective, that's kind of robbing us for tries that we probably would have had a good shot at otherwise. So yeah, I'm not going to say that the corner is turned for Hoskins and he's going to be gangbusters for points, but yeah, this week he was very solid and turned out to be the top loose forward. Charlie Gamble coming in 3rd place. Didn't expect to see that. Definitely a good player and does not have a bad average, but was not strongly on my radar. McWright was, and yeah, 41 points is pretty solid, and he ended up being 4th highest point scorer as well, which is, you know, pretty happy to have him picked. Then we had Lange Gleeson, another player who I am actually a fan of. He's probably my favorite back rower in the Waratahs from a fantasy perspective, and yeah, he had a pretty good game as well. Leo Willie, he's another pick who, if any of my preferred back rowers weren't there, I probably would have slotted him in, and yeah, he was pretty solid, 35 points, nothing to write home about. And Satiti, he's an important one to note. This was the first start he has had since returning from his injury. Got 34 points, played pretty well, carried well, but a lot of what he does doesn't get a huge amount of points, right? Like, the thing he does best is he'll carry to the line. He uses a bit of footwork just to get outside the shoulder of his defenders, but because he's always going in bent at the hips just trying to get over that gain line, he does that really well, but it doesn't leave him opportunities to get more points. Like, he's not going to get a line break and run away. He's not in position to really get offloads from that necessarily, although he still does get a decent amount of offloads. So yeah, I'm kind of lukewarm on Satiti going forward, but still he remains on my radar. And beyond that, Jacobson, he was the only other one who I put forward. He ended up getting 20 points, so not a great score from him, but I keep saying this every week. I'm just never sure when's the right time to pick Jacobson. And if we look at the locks, pretty much the only ones I put forward this week were Hooper, who played at number 8 for the Brumbies, and Nick Frost. And yeah, neither of them are really on the radar here, except Hooper, who is down in 6th place with 28 points. Pretty standard score for the lock slot. The two guys of note here were Scott Barrett and Williams. Ended up with Williams just out of sheer luck, I guess, from having to juggle things around due to Tizano being out, so that really worked out for me. So Cannon was another one I put forward as well, I think, and yeah, he was my second lock. He did pretty well. Scott Barrett was a top scorer, but I believe he did have a try this game, made a lot of tackles, so yeah, pretty good effort from him. And the other Crusaders sort of lock players were also quite high as well, and they're all pretty solid options, not the first time we've seen them here. And then looking at the hookers, really nothing super interesting happening here. Nick Dolly ending up being the top scorer for this slot, and I think it's come from me being credited with these 2 line-out steals. It just gave him another 10 points. He also made 1,000,000 tackles as well, which was pretty good, and yeah, that propelled him to the top. Riccatelli, 39 points. I mean, he's been solid. He's always in that sort of 40 to 50 sort of zone. Did very well. And then everyone else, there's kind of a bit of daylight. My 2 picks were Riccatelli and Richie Asiata. I ended up going with Asiata. I believe he did get a try this game, but yeah, still didn't end up with a very big score, so a little bit disappointed. The other one I pointed out as well was Dave Porky, who's returning for the Waratahs, but yeah, not a lot happening for him in that game. And then with the props, and 2 props I went with were Renata and Alatoa. I did mention Renata again because I had him last week. I had him last week. He was returning from injury. I thought he would shore up the Blues scrum a lot, and he is pretty decent around the park as well. He did well last week. He did well again this week. I think he got a try in both games, but yeah, he's also getting a lot of points from these scrums because he shores up the Blues scrum, but not so much that it becomes a weapon that they just get free penalties from every scrum, just enough that they can very cleanly win all their ball. And that's when you get those +3 points for the scrums. And yeah, just second week in a row, he's done really well, so probably going to keep picking him, to be honest. Alan Alatoa has been another very consistently good pick, not so much this week, unfortunately. But also Tom Robertson, I mean, he's one of our old favorites, been quiet for a while, but I mean, he just went big this week, 30 tackles. Like, that is gigantic. And I think in the last time they played the Brumbies, he got 1,000,000 tackles as well. Yeah, 28 tackles. So it's just the way the Brumbies played. Like, they're extremely patient. They'll just hold on to the ball. They'll bang away on your line. And that's when these sort of type 5 forwards can rack up a lot of tackles when they're defending against that. Just these constant one-out runners close to the line. So yeah, I mean, shout out to Tom Robinson, always a good pick. Futatua was actually another one of my picks that I pointed out as well, just because, yeah, he kind of benefits in the same way that Renata does from that well-functioning scrum, but he also picked up a try this game, which really pushed him up. And beyond that, I think the only one I really put forward was Angus Bell, who's another old favorite, who got 27, nothing to note there. And these Crusaders props, I mean, they're usually pretty solid as well, so really nothing of interest to note in the props. And now if we jump over to the league, round 13, top score this week, again, it's Cal 7, the guy who is, or at least was last week, the #1 player on the overall leaderboard. He is in our league, and it looks like he's done really well again this week. Couple of interesting picks. Did have Tofa Funaki there. Probably not a lot of people grabbed him, but that worked out really well. Had that great combo up front, Riccatelli and Renata. Had Satutu as well. Also went for the Satiti pick. Interesting. McWright, that's a pretty common one. Had the Scott Barrett pick. Barrett went really well. Ikitau Suali'i, probably a pretty common combo there. Had DMAC for the captain as well. I mean, DMAC, he's always going to be a solid choice for captain. Always has a very high upside as well, even though it didn't come through this week. Also had Corey Toole, Harry Potter, Tom Wright. And this is pretty much the back three that I wanted after I dropped AJ Lamb. So yeah, that worked out pretty well. Not because of Harry Potter, but just having those two, Corey Toole and Tom Wright, in your back three. Now, Laker Luka in second place. Pretty similar stuff here. Went for the Hotham pick. Had that Suali'i Ikitau combo. And again, the same back three as well. Corey Toole, Tom Wright, Harry Potter. Feels like that's probably going to be the most common lineup for the back three this week. Also had the Valentini pick, interestingly. Wonder if he also noticed that Tizano was out and just had to make a desperation pick. Had Williams and Barrett, like the top locks there, pretty good. And also had Tom Robertson along with the Renata Riccatelli combo. So yeah, picking up a lot of points in the tight five. That is always good to see. Snap a Hodgin 81, third place. Went for the Tate McDermott pick like me. Also had Tapia, interestingly. Didn't get a lot of points, but played a good game. And yeah, that exact same back three. McWright, Satutu. Went for Will Harris. Again, I'm wondering if there's another person who spotted Tizano being injured late. Fourth place is me, of course. Here is my team if you didn't notice it already. And it looks like I'm the only one who actually went for Will Jordan. Definitely not my preferred pick, but ended up stuck on him. And wow, the full Blues front row. I love it. Renata and Fusatua as well. Went for the Hooper #8 pick. Unfortunately, got stuck with Tizano. Got the big fat 0. That really sucks. Really not much you can do about that, unfortunately. Had Gleason, got 37 points. I like that. And yeah, exact same centers and back three. Tosso drew a Tosso. Had the Corey Toole captain. I love it. Had Severis as well. Yeah, I was tossing up between Will Jordan and Severis, but the main thing was I just wanted to get off AJ Lamb before the game started so he didn't get locked in. I went for Jordan, unfortunately got injured. Had Barrett as well, pretty cool. And yeah, Champion de Krisny. Again, I think this is another panic pickup after seeing Tizano was injured. At the end of the day, it is better than getting a big fat 0. Also went for the Cullen Grace pick, which worked out pretty well. Then we have Ramo, 527 points. And yeah, someone else who got stuck with Will Jordan, unfortunately. A bit of a Crusaders fan, maybe. Had Havili, Grace, Tamati Williams. And again, another Tizano panic buy. That's probably the most pickups Champion de Krisny's had in any round this year. Murray in #8. Had the Captain Barrett. Pretty solid safe pick there. Also had Will Jordan, unfortunately. And another all Blues front row. I love it. Had the Valentini pick as well, unfortunately. Probably another last minute Tizano replacement. Then down in 9th place, finally we get down to the Corey Evans pickers. I'm kind of surprised there wasn't a few more people going for Corey Evans. You wouldn't pick him over Suali'i, but I think it was pretty close between him and the other midfield options. And yeah, again, just the same back three combo. Everyone had the same thinking with this one. Another cannon pick'em though, that's pretty cool. McWright's a 2-2, unfortunately getting stuck with Tizano. Then lastly, we will look at Ezra Man in the 10th spot. And okay, we got some Blues picks here. Another Corey Evans pick, a Cole Forbes pick. AJ Lamb pick didn't work out, unfortunately, and a Corey Toole captain, which really would have done a lot of work. And again, so Tutu McWright missing out with Tizana, unfortunately. Aziata Bell, Alan Alatoa, pretty solid team. And yeah, if you're getting over 500 points, you're doing pretty solid. Anyway, guys, that'll do it from me. Pretty tough week overall for most people. It was a low scoring week, but not only that, there was a lot of chopping and changing, last minute scratchings of some big players, wet weather in a few locations, and otherwise, yeah, just felt like a choppy and changey week, at least for me. I felt like multiple times I had to go in and chop and change my team, and it still ended up working out pretty well for me. Hope it worked out for you guys as well. Overall, pretty good games this weekend as well. I enjoyed most of them, especially that Chiefs Crusaders game. That'll do it from me for the rest of the week though. Stay tuned for the lineups preview and the next best picks video on Thursday. I hope you have a good week till then. Be a good child to your mothers tomorrow, and I'll catch you in the next one.